Ah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 42, the latest and greatest club from the restaurant at the end of the universe. And with us, as always, to drop his sweet, sweet, sweet audio chocolate on our ears is Ryan. How you doing today, buddy?
Yummy. Oh, I'm actually good this weekend. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I slept a lot last night, like that good sleep. You wake up and you're like, yeah. Like, it's been a long time since I've slept that solidly, so.
Yeah, I'm a parent, and my oldest is almost 9, so it's been about 9 years for me. That's about how long that's been. But I know what you're talking about. Occasionally, I do rent a hotel room or go on vacation and don't have the kids, and it takes like 2 days to like defrag, and on that like third day, you just like sleep,
Yeah.
and it's just like time passes instantly. Like you go to sleep, and then you just wake up, and it's 8 o'clock, and you feel great, or it's 11, whatever, whenever it happens to be.
Yeah, I remember one time when one of my little brothers was complaining about being tired. My dad's like, I've been tired for 30 years. Suck it up.
That's exactly how I feel.
It's like, I feel you.
Yeah, your dad was the kind of guy that worked on vacation.
Oh, he's a workaholic.
Yeah, he'd put like 5-6 hour days on
That,
vacation.
that's his hobby.
That was yeah. It's not really a job if you're enjoying it like he did, kind of, I think. But he
Yeah.
was working on those kind of problems that when you solved, I bet was a feeling of just pure satisfaction.
Some
You know
of
what I
them,
mean?
some of them are because me and him have a similar field
hmm
now.
hmm
Uh, and yeah, I've definitely been there where, some of them are months. You're just struggling. You're struggling for months, and all of a sudden it's a breakthrough, and you're like, yes.
Do those come through in like the middle of the night at like 3 o'clock in the morning, or
Sometimes. So
yeah,
I've
just wake up
definitely,
and you're like, oh, I got it.
or I've dreamt solutions
Have you
before.
really?
Yeah,
That's a
it's a
that
weird
happens, huh?
feeling. Yeah, definitely a couple times. It's because I'm basically a programmer.
Right.
So sometimes I'll dream in the code. I don't like it when that happens, but sometimes it happens.
You dream in code. You dream in code.
Sometimes
Wow,
it's
that'd be a
never
crazy dream.
it's never fun when it happens. Did you ever hear the stories about the guys who made Quake?
No.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. But like the lead programmer for Quake, he like it was so all encompassing when he was making the first game. He would like see the lines of code like running up his arms and like would dream in code and like everywhere he looked was the code for the engine in the game.
Was he having to write the engine and the game at the same time?
Yeah, back in the day, that's what it was.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
That's crazy. Yeah, the internet is like a brain. Each human is like a little brain cell, and the online connections are like the synapses. And you have the different pockets of people that exist, and that's like the different parts of the brain. And if you say something to the whole collective, it kind of activates that part, and they send out their little shockwaves to the other, the little parts of the brains that kind of quash it and shut it down. And you've got these little entities that seem to like float around like anonymous that try to like shut down certain things they don't like. They're like the antiviruses. I mean, not the antiviruses, but like the antibodies, like the white blood cells,
It's
or
a
they could be the viruses, depending on which part of the brain you're looking at, right?
right. It's an ecosystem.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. But it seems to be more of just an ecosystem, but more of like almost like an emergent global consciousness. It'd be
Yeah.
interesting if you could give the whole internet a vote and see what it did. Like if it was like in control of a robot, like a 3D printer, what would it make?
Oh, I don't know if I want to know how bad humanity would be if everyone had a vote.
Or how good? Who knows?
Who knows?
It'd be interesting to see.
Uh,
I mean,
well,
most of the people I know are good people.
well, yeah, but there's what 7 billion of us. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, it probably folds out pretty 50-50 for good people and bad people.
Hmm.
And not like bad,
I bet
like
the number's higher for good intent.
maybe good
I bet
intent.
the number comes out closer to 50-50 for outcome.
Yeah, that's probably true, but like not like just like good people and versus like murderers and stuff. More like some people are just assholes. There aren't necessarily bad people. They're just kind of assholes.
There's a lot of there's a lot of those. Yeah, those are just bad parents. That's all that is. So how was the weather? Did you get any of these sunny days that everybody's been talking about?
We've gotten some sunny days. Mostly rain though.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it rained a lot. Yeah.
Pittsburgh is like the third cloudiest city in the country, behind like Seattle and Portland or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
were determined to move to a cloudy city.
yeah. I didn't expect that though.
You wanted to move to where was the other place you wanted to move to?
No, we almost moved to Seattle,
Yeah, Seattle. That's the
which
one
would
where people yeah.
should have been awesome.
Except for like the 300 days of clouds.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's like 180.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
That's over half though, right?
it's right around half. But it's also, especially when we were there, almost every day was really cloudy and gloomy till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it just got nice and sunny for the evening.
Well, that
So
seems okay.
yeah, and if you ever get the chance to go to Seattle, go to Seattle. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
It's like a rainforest kind of up there, right? Real lush and
Oh, it's super pretty
yeah, super
everywhere.
pretty.
Mountains, uh, and
Is it cold up there?
not bad. Not bad. We went in September and it was hoodies, kind of weather. You know,
That's not bad.
50s.
Yeah. Your definition of hoodies and my definition of hoodies is a little different, but okay.
But yeah, it's especially if you if you're in like especially downtown, which is where we were, downtown uptown.
Mm-hmm.
If you eat during happy hours, it's actually really cheap to eat and go out.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like $5 burgers and
Yeah.
super, half off drinks. The most interesting place we went was this Mexican sushi fusion restaurant. It was so good.
So what do they do? Just take a tamale and cut it in half and present it like it's a sushi roll?
No,
They're like, no, it's sushi. It's sushi. You're like, no, it's not. That's just a tamale. I could do.
the sushi rolls were like a hybrid. So they had like
Taco meat or something in them.
that or like habanero or jalapeno spices. More of the
Nice.
Mexican spice palette than the Asian spice palette, but it was still sushi.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
you mean like still be like crab meat or
right, like or tuna or
nice?
whatever.
Did it have the rice still?
Yeah, it was
Was
a
it
sushi
Mexican
roll.
rice?
Well, the ones we had didn't, but I think there was some with that. They used the Mexican rice instead of the white rice.
That'd be fun.
And then yeah, so you dip in there with this wasabi and get this really weird spice kick, and
Mm.
it was pretty cheap. Like happy hour rolls are like $6, $7 a roll.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Between two people, you need two or three.
Yeah,
It's not bad. A couple drinks. It's a good night. Or, good afternoon.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good time. I highly recommend it to anyone who ever gets a chance. Just go. 'Cause that's what we did. Is we rented a hotel downtown, and you didn't have a car. Just walked around and Ubered when we needed to get out to other places, and just kind of went from there. It was fantastic. I loved it.
How well did Uber work?
Oh, I love Uber. I use Uber all the time.
Even still?
Uh-huh. I used it yesterday.
Really?
I get new tires on the car, and my wife
You,
had stuff to do. So
you feel safe with it? It works out pretty well?
yeah, it's cheaper. It's way cheaper than a cab.
How does it work? I've never done it. Just kind of give me an example of how it happens. You call them or you
It's
you
an
know,
app here. I'll bring it up. I'll show it to you.
so you got an app on your phone
Uh-huh.
and it has, how does it work? Like a map or something?
Right. Hold on. It's being a little slow, but I'll pull it up and I'll show it to you. It's easier when you see it.
Well, there's a lot of people that might listen to this that aren't gonna be able
Right,
to see
right,
it.
right. But I'll explain it to you. See, so it gives you your map and tells you where you are, and it tells you how close the nearest one is. So if we zoom out,
Mm-hmm.
You can actually see in the see in the corner there. You can actually see the car. So that's the actual
That's the guy that's willing
hmm
to do the job.
Right. And so
Okay.
you click the button, you tell it where you want to go, and it reserves it, and he comes picks you up and he takes you there.
What is that like? Like,
It's,
tell me an example of like what happened when somebody showed up.
um,
Did you show like up in an '87 IROC Camaro with like smelly interior, or
no, for the almost every time I've done it, it's been a nicer, newer car. You see a lot of Hondas, a lot of Priuses, a lot of like little like mini SUVs like the CX-7, CX-5 Mazdas, that kind of stuff. Because I probably use Uber 10 times or more now.
really?
hmm
I've
And
always been curious. For drinking and driving, it seems way better.
right, and it's really convenient since it's tied to your card. Like there is no transaction of money,
Oh, it
so
just
it
automatically
automatically
takes it from
charges
you,
you. Yeah, so
gives it to them.
right, and you ask for a rating. I've only had one kind of bad experience where the guy just you could tell he smoked about 3 packs a day. And the interior of his car just stank. But beyond that,
Mm,
like I used it yesterday. Like I said, so did my wife actually.
nice.
So yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. The first time I used it was in San Diego last year,
Mm-hmm.
and so to get from the airport to our hotel was $45 with a regular cab.
Right, that's about right. That's what I expect.
On Uber, it was 23.
Nice.
Yeah,
And it
and
probably was, a nicer car, probably.
it was, and for the most part, most people are doing it for something to do on the weekends. They're just earning a little extra money on the weekends or at night or something. So they're generally really talkative and want to know everything about everything, and
Interesting.
they generally speak English, which most cab drivers don't.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That is a thing. For the most part, it's been a very good experience. I've never had an issue. I mean,
And you feel
sometimes,
comfortable letting your wife go on them.
yeah, yeah. I've, I haven't seen any reason why not. I mean, she's
Right.
kind of iffy about it, but if you're in a pinch,
Does she have a knife or any type of self-defense that she carries?
I don't know if she has anything on her right now. I mean, she is concealed carry, so
Oh, well, damn.
yeah.
Are you?
No, I'm not.
We should do that.
Yeah, concealed carry.
Mm-hmm. It'd be
Uh,
fun. Throwing a gun and, I don't know, makes those Uber trips feel a lot better.
yeah, she was packing heat on our first dates. I found out later, so I was like, "That's funny."
No shit. She was going to shoot you, dude.
Just in
You try
case.
anything fancy, she's going to, like, blow you off.
That's the thing
Pow, pow,
about,
pow.
especially living in the South. Like, just about anyone, and especially just about any girl, can be packing. So,
Oh, that's one of the main reasons. It's one of the main reasons I stay out of road rage situations down here. It's like, I think about a third of these people have a gun in their car right now. There's just hundreds of guns around me as I'm driving down the freeway.
what was it? I don't
Night
remember
night.
who. I don't
Love
remember who
you.
said it, but someone said an armed
Okay,
society is
night
a
night.
polite society.
Well, it makes sense, right?
Because you're always just a little worried that someone's gonna try and shoot you.
Did you hear about that lady in Texas that was standing at the bus stop late at night going home? She'd gotten off work as like a bartender or whatever,
hmm
and they get out. The bar closes at 2, but they don't get out of there till like 3.
Yeah, for
So she had a habit of standing at the bus stop in not the nicest place, nicest part of Houston, but she would stand at a bus stop and she had a concealed carry license or whatever, but she would put her hand in her purse and hold onto her gun and then, hold her purse in her up here, kind of
hmm
close, kind of hold it up, by her. And a guy ran by and ripped the purse out of her hand and she spun around. And when she spun around, she kind of, was facing him because she kind of stumbled. And the only thing she was holding was her gun. So she just raised it up and shot him, right? The gun held 9 bullets, and she hit him 8 times.
wow, that's a good shot.
And the judge asked her, "Why did you shoot him 8 times?" And she goes, "Because I ran out of bullets." I was like, that's all I had. I would have just kept shooting. Uh huh.
Well, it's one of those things. You can only be so trained as a civilian. You're
Right.
not used to being in those situations, so you're scared. So yeah, you just keep pulling
Hmm.
because you don't want them to come back up.
She hit him 8 times.
Which, I don't know, maybe it wasn't that far, but that seems like she was a pretty accurate shot.
The moral of the story is, don't steal girls' purses late at night in Houston.
Don't.
You might get 8 bullets for your trouble.
What kind of gun was it, do you know?
One of those small little girly guns.
Okay.
But I don't know the story exactly. I'm sure we could Google it, but I don't know what we would Google. But the judge asked her that question or whatever, and then he goes, all right, you're free to go. She was acquitted of all charges and, was considered, self-defense of property or something like that. That's the other thing about Texas.
According to this, it looks like it was 6 times.
6 times and she had 7 bullets or something like that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And squeeze the trigger. Why did you shoot the man 6 times? The woman replied under us because when I pulled the trigger of my pistol the 7th time, it only went click. The woman was acquitted of all charges, and she was back at work at the cafe the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. We gotta put that in the show notes.
Yeah, that's Texas for you. That shit's funny.
Yeah, my wife's sister passed her open carry stuff for Texas.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because you can open carry in Texas now.
Where I live?
Uh-huh.
You can carry like a gun on your hip like we're out of the Wild West or something?
Yeah, you have to open carry. It's pretty intense. Like it's...
Oh, I see. It's not just,
Right. No. It's more... It's harder to get open than it is concealed.
Okay.
It's something like 50 holster. Yeah, you have to have a holstered, load a bullet, and shoot in under a certain amount of seconds. And you have to score, and you have 10 shots, and you have to score a 50, or 49, so 5 bullseyes and one off the edge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. In Oklahoma is open carry, but that's still a little different. It's not designed for people to... Most open carry laws aren't designed for people to actually openly carry a gun. It's designed for people who conceal carry and their gun becomes unconcealed. Because technically in a lot of states, if it becomes unconcealed, it's a crime. And so it's more to protect them.
In what way? Like I have it underneath my jacket blows open by the wind and somebody sees it? That's a crime?
Right, because you're not allowed to open carry.
So that makes it open?
Yes.
Or if it's tucked behind your shirt and your shirt comes untucked?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would suck.
That would suck. So a lot of states that are pro-gun are doing that kind of stuff to help just protect citizens.
All right. So anybody that wants a life pro tip on self-defense, depending on which hands you are, if you're left-handed or you're right-handed or whatever stance you like to stand in, if you had to fight, put your arms up like you're gonna fight, and whichever hand goes to the back, put your self-defense item in that rear pocket. So when you're asked for your wallet, you can tell them to wait, and you reach back like you're going to grab your wallet, but instead of grabbing your wallet, you're grabbing your mace or your taser or your knife. And you're grabbing it with your main hand that you're good with. So you keep the one hand up, keep them away, reach behind, grab that, and then do whatever you're going to do, or give them your wallet. That's your choice.
See, my first response would be like, okay, here you go.
Yeah, I don't want to die over this.
There's nothing in there. It's like, I'm going to be able to cancel those credit cards before he can ever use them.
Or I'll cancel the charges, yeah. There's no cash. The only thing that I'm really upset about losing is going to be my driver's license.
Yeah.
It's like, damn it, that sucks.
Time to get a new one.
Yeah, can I have the,
But,
that $5 wallet, yeah.
Yeah, and, get my insurance card replaced. That's about it. There's nothing really in my wallet that I wouldn't mind losing. Besides just the hassle of losing it. Because getting all that shit replaced is hard.
Anyway, that was just a tip I was given.
It's a good tip. I do like that. So let's get into our recommends. So Ryan, what do you recommend for us this week?
It's 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
I could split it up between 2 weeks, but I think that would be pointless. But there are 2 books by, what's his name, Douglas Adams or Scott Adams?
Scott Adams. Douglas Adams is the namesake of our podcast, Hitchhiker's Guide.
Right, but that's why I get them confused because they're both authors. So, Scott Adams is the guy who wrote Dilbert,
Correct.
right? But he also wrote God's Debris,
Mm-hmm.
which is a book. How would you describe it?
Well, he describes it as a 103-page thought experiment.
Yep, that's a great way to describe it.
Right, and it's very interesting to read his stuff on it because he wrote it in ways to trick your brain.
Well, don't give any of that away.
Right.
Right, but just yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna recommend God's Debris, and I was looking for the sequel. I don't remember what the name of it was.
The Religion War. Let's see
The
right here.
Religion War. It's
Right
the
there.
end of the story, which is much more of a story. But I would say that Scott Adams is one of the best writers that I've read. He is amazingly smart, and it is very enjoyable. And there might be a test, but not really. I'm just playing. You might hear Jacob and I talking about it because we're both going to read through these over the next, 2 weeks or so. Probably get them both done over the next 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
But they're one of those kind of books that you can, once you have them, you can read them like in a day. They're not hard.
Yeah, they're what? I mean, they both can't be more than 150 pages.
Yeah, and they don't take maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on how fast you read.
Yeah, a couple hours maybe.
Yeah, 3 or 4 hours at the most.
Because I know when I first read it, I would read like 3 or 4 pages and stop and think about it and
Oh
go
no,
back and read
I
it
would get
again.
mad. I'd get frustrated and put the book down and have to walk around in circles, and kind of like, man, that's, you know what I mean? You're just like, I'm just gonna go talk to. Damn it, and yeah, or you would just put it down because it would take you a minute. You're just like, wow, that's interesting.
That's heavy.
Yeah, because some of that's what.
Some of it's just so. I don't know if deep is the right word. Whatever, but it's
Challenging.
something. Yeah, it's challenging.
It's challenging because he likes to I don't know. He takes things to such logical extremes that things start to break down, but he leaves it. He argues in such a way that it's so built up that his defenses of the argument are so built up that you're like, well, I couldn't see any flaw in the logic the whole way through in that chain, so this must work. And that's the fun of it, is like some of the stuff that he can come up with. No reason. Anyway, that's the recommends. God's Debris and The Religion War by Scott Adams.
Yes, both are cheap. I know the Kindle version of God's Debris is $5, and I think the Religion War is also $5. So $10. It's good. It's a week or two worth of reading. I think it would be really interesting because the first book is kind of written as a conversation, and I think it'd be really interesting to have it narrated between the two people and actually have the conversation.
I'll do it. I think it'd be fun.
It would be fun. Maybe
Yeah, a little bit of acting involved.
Yeah.
Not real acting, but just kind of voice acting.
Right, because that's World War Z. The book is written as an interview. It's like all these interviews with all these different persons, whatever.
Can I get the plural on that? It's Nemesis.
But anyway, and so they got all these different people to do each of the different voices. So the guy who's the interviewer is the same throughout, but they have different actors reading the other pieces. So it almost feels like you're listening to a radio program.
So we like to talk about being filthy rich and what if.
Uh-huh.
One of my eccentric things that I would do is I would take book series that I really enjoy, like the Dresden Files, and I would have them go through and give everybody a character, like a voice. Instead of one guy like changing his voice to play the characters, which is fine once you get used to it. Mm-hmm. But everybody has a voice, and then do the sound effects and some of the other stuff. Or what I would really like to do is be able to animate some of the stories like that. Like if you turn Dresden into a Japanese anime style, but American anime, like kind of out of the late 90s to the early 2000s, going into that, that kind of Afro samurai style. Mm-hmm. where it's highly stylized, and when he's having those battles, and it could, you could put all the wind and stuff in, and all the magic that he does, like when the rune, when the staff like lights up and stuff, it could be real bright. I don't know, be fun.
Okay, now that you're well into Dresden, I'm going to make your day and then ruin it all at the same time.
Okay.
There was one season of a Dresden Files television show,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fucking terrible.
Oh, I figured. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's
like Dresden is like a womanizer, and Bob isn't a skull. He's a dude, and he lives in a loft and not a basement, which is really central to a lot of the point, But actually, we were talking about it, and what I thought would be cool would be a TV show based on Murphy, where Dresden is sort of a secondary character. It's about her, like, the human side of fighting all these supernatural beings, kind of like Gotham, but Dresden.
Yeah, but the only way you could really do it, man, is if it was animated like Death Note or like Akira, like Akira. The Akira movie, like have it animated like that, where they're wearing where just everything can really express that imagination that the guy describes. Because there's just no way to do the CGI good enough right now in real life to do the things that he's describing. But you could easily draw the Luke Guru.
Right.
The big werewolf. You could draw that. I don't know. So that book that you were talking about where the guys are all interviewed and they all do their different voices, is it good?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I have it laying around. I can put it up for you.
Yeah, that's one of the things I would like to do if I had money. No, don't send me any more shit. Stop sending me stuff. I don't need any more things to watch or read or listen to for a little bit.
Just a little overload, huh?
Well, I'm doing a Dresden book a week.
That's
and then
intense, man.
And then I have, well, it's not bad. Because I have Monday to listen to our podcasts, and go over that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a few podcasts that I have to listen to every week. I don't have to, but I really want to listen to every week. And then I spend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday listening to the book. And then Friday to try to finish all my podcasts that I didn't get done Monday. So that's not, terrible.
At some point, your brain's just going to be like, nope, I'm out. You
I've
put too much in there. Screw you.
I've been doing this for probably 10 years now. Probably going on 7 years I've been listening to 8 hours worth of audio commentary a day. I listen to it a lot.
Yeah, I'm not that bad. I still do listen to a lot of music too.
I don't.
But the last
all music's out.
4 years or so, I can't do audio all the time, especially when I'm really in the heart of like programming. Like I can't handle.
Oh no, I couldn't
trying
either.
to
I could understand that.
process,
Sure.
pull in information. So the music for that, but. Last 4 years, I've chewed through so many books.
Mm-hmm.
I've done World War Z, the Hunger Games trilogy, into the 5th book of Harry Potter, and then I just got tired of it and said, "Fuck you, I'm out."
I did that with Lord of the Rings.
Because I don't know if you've read Harry Potter, but Harry Potter is much better in movie form. It really is, because J.K. Rowling gets so wordy. It's just like, oh God, just end already. Like,
that's what happened with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings could get that way too. But
by the 3rd book, it took him a whole goddamn chapter to describe the castle. It was a whole chapter. I read for like 2 days on what the goddamn castle looked like, and by the time I got to the end of it, I couldn't fucking remember what it looked like. I was like, I read all that, and I don't even know what I'm supposed to. I was done. I didn't give a fuck if that ring ever made it, man. Throw it, put it down right there. Tell the goblin to come get it. Fuck it. You can have this goddamn ring. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I gave up on that shit.
I read the first 2. And I never read the 3rd. The movie was good, but I never read the 3rd.
Yeah, I could read that.
So I've done over half of Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
I've done all of the Dresden Files, which is 16, 17 books.
Nice.
Which is a lot of in load. I've done Ready Player One, which is awesome. If you want a good one-off book, Ready Player One is a good one.
You did the Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah. Trying to think what else. Oh, I've done. I know I've done more. I just can't think of it right now.
Yeah, yeah, you have a pretty good hefty. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I've listened to every single Joe Rogan experience, and those are about 2.5 to 3 hours a piece.
Jesus.
And he has 634 of them. So I don't even know how many hours that is. It's like 1,800, 2,000 hours that I've listened to there.
Yeah.
And then I've listened to all of Ari Shafir's, which are at least an hour to 2 hours. And he's got 209 or something. And then I've listened to every single Radio Lab, every single Hardcore History by Dan Carlin. I've listened to all of Dan Carlin's Common Sense. And then I won't tell you all of the magic podcasts that I've listened to because that'd be irrelevant to most people, but I've listened to a lot
This
of podcasts.
podcast is all about bringing the relevant to relevancy because it's relevant to us, and that's all that matters.
Okay, sure. This is like relevanception. This is relevancy on top of relevancy. We'll have so much of it we can't even say it.
The South Park making fun of Inception was pretty good. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah?
just because you have a unique concept doesn't make it good or interesting.
What?
They're just kind of ragging on it how, but just because it's complicated doesn't mean it's deep. Like it's the idea is complicated, but it doesn't mean it's like super special. It's just complicated.
Right.
Because the idea itself actually is not that big of a deal. It's just dream worlds inside of worlds.
I thought it was fun. Where they leave
loved it. No,
the
I
end.
love-
Oh,
I
okay.
absolutely love the movie. I
thought it was great.
But I can love something. I also love the satire. Like I'm not one of those people.
Sure,
Like I
sure.
very rarely get, unless it's just completely off base. I find the satire on the things I love almost just as good as the thing I actually love.
Yeah, especially if it's good, where it's actually funny and they point out stuff that you're a fan of that you didn't notice. You're like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what makes humor fun is a little bit of truth in it.
I was have you ever seen the Movie Sins YouTube?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's all or Cinema Sins, I think is what it is. It's like the YouTube is like everything wrong with this movie in 7 minutes or less. So they'll rattle off and they'll point out all the plot holes, everything to for the movies and just poke fun at it.
Some of those can ruin movies for me though, because they'll point out such obvious things. I'm like, oh, yeah, that is weird.
Like Indiana Jones wasn't needed in the first movie.
I like that movie. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, stuff like that. Like like the one where they ruin Incredibles. It's like, damn it, I liked that movie. And
How they
I still enjoy.
Incredibles?
Well, there's like 7 minutes of stuff that's wrong. I'd have to go back and rewatch that YouTube video. But there's just stuff about how the story is just a story on its. I don't remember exactly on itself about how Mr. Incredible. So in my mind, I remember there being a part about Mr. Incredible and the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And how that was like a self-fulfilling prophecy weird thing or something. The part with the guy in the cave.
Right.
Some of the technology stuff about why doesn't the guy that can beat Mr. Incredible just kill him? Some of those obvious, well, why doesn't he just win here?
Right, but part of that was just the spoofing of the genre.
Right. But I mean, it's still. Dude, I'll watch Incredibles right now with you. We can just start streaming the Incredibles and start talking about it because that movie
get
is
sued by
amazing.
Disney.
I
Dude,
don't.
hot
Well,
minute.
I care, but my point is, I could watch it right now. And then there was also just some logic flaws about the missiles and the ship and the airplane. I don't know. There's just quite a bit, and it's just like, oh, damn it.
Oh, for sure. The one, they've done a lot. Like there was one night where I was just up late, and I just kept watching them.
What's your recent YouTube rabbit hole?
Recent? Well, the extra credit guys, which we watched their video on the second
Mm-hmm.
podcast, I think.
Right.
They
With
have
the
this series called Extra History,
nice.
where the first, and they've done three, well, at least last time I looked, they've done three different bits of history. The first was on the Peloponnesic, no, the war in Rome, and it's where Rome Total War, the game, is based out of.
Mm-hmm.
And they were actually paid to do it by the people who made Rome Total War. They're like, hey, we have this extra money in our marketing budget. Will you do this to help educate people on the setting of the game, which I thought was really cool.
That is cool.
They have a 4 or 5 episode arc on World War One, the events that led up to it, and
Nice.
how it could have. There was so many times where it could have just been avoided.
Oh yeah.
Just
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah,
just,
people not backing down and stuff.
or that, and just people missing deadlines by a day, or
Mm-hmm.
something getting delayed, or happening a little too fast, or
Communications not being fast enough.
right, or how the Duke that got assassinated that led into World War One.
Or how much luck went into him getting shot.
Right, because he wasn't supposed to go that route.
No, the whole the whole story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all got together in the cafe. They planned it out. They all had grenades and guns, and the first guy went for it and shot him or whatever. And the first guy threw the grenade and missed. It didn't go off or whatever, and that guy got shot. And then everybody else that was part of the thing ran away, and they disbanded because the whole parade because the guy drove off. Like, he ran away from the original assassination attempt. Like, drove away. Like, he's fine.
And then just happened to drive by another one of the fleeing assassins. Yes.
No, he gets lost, right?
Right.
Those guys, the other assassins, are sulking in a cafe about, damn, this sucks, because we didn't get our assassination like we wanted. The driver takes a wrong turn down that road where the cafe is, and they break down in the parking lot. And the guy walks out when he's done eating lunch, and there's the guy. He just pulls out his gun and shoots them both. Like, he literally walks out the door and just shoots him. There's like a monument. It's like 12 feet away from the door. It's crazy because those people are really excited about what that guy did, whether it led to World War One or not. That's ancient Baltic stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's old white people war stuff. We've been, for as long as ever. That's probably some like Klansman blood war that we just continued on forever until the whole world fought over it.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they also have one about how feudal Japan took its shape, and samurai and ninja and the warring clans.
I haven't looked into that at all. I haven't read into that stuff at all.
It's very interesting, and it's actually pretty long. It's like 7 or 8 episodes. I really enjoy that.
If you enjoyed that, you would really enjoy Dan Carlin's Hardcore History.
Okay.
They're almost audiobooks. Like, he does one on the who's the guy over there in Asia that killed everybody? He rode on horses. Genghis. He does a 5 episode series on Genghis Khan and his sons, and they're all like 3 or 4 hours apiece.
Wow.
And they are epic, unbelievably enjoyable. You would really, really enjoy them. I highly recommend them to anybody.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what else I've been watching on the YouTubes besides just like random shit.
That's what I was kind of talking about. Like, what's the craziest random shit you've like just happened to fallen into?
There was a good. Have you seen the like how it should have ended?
No.
There's this guy who like takes like movies or trailers and animates like how they should have ended. And so there's one about the Age of Ultron trailer, which is a new Avengers movie.
Right.
Because I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but he's got like in the trailer there's this really creepy version cover of "There Are No Strings on Me" from Pinocchio.
Really? No, I haven't heard it.
Oh, it's really good, but it's one of those like super eerie things.
Mm-hmm.
So he just kind of has Ultron singing these really creepy versions, and all the Avengers are going, "No, you're murdering my childhood! You're murdering my childhood!"
That's funny.
Oh, trying to think what else. I don't know.
Did what I found in recently is I happened to put in go karts just
Uh-huh.
randomly. Like I was like, I'll just check out some go karts. Did you know adults are into go karts? And you know what happens when adult men get into go karts? Oh my god, they put on like yeah, that's what I've been. That's the rabbit hole. It's just go karts, right? But you just start clicking on like go karts, and the further you get into it, you finally get into these like pulse jet motor go karts. These people are using. They're going like 140 on, or they're putting Hayabusa motors on them and driving them on the freeways and passing cars. You know, it's just like oh my god. But the coolest thing I found was a guy took a PVC pipe, right?
hmm
A little bit smaller than the tire. And then he deflated his tires, shoves them in with a hammer inside the pipe, and then reinflates them so they get stuck in there real tight. And then puts them back on his go kart. So he's got these PVC rings around the outside of the rubber. So you can imagine how slippery that would be on concrete.
Uh-huh.
So he's just got these four-wheel drifts on this go-kart that does about 20, 30 miles an hour, but he just hangs out these drifts that are like a quarter mile long, like in these mall parking, not that far, but like 100 mile, not 100 mile, 100 yards, just throws it and pitches it sideways and he just, and he's just these giant long drifts. I was like, that looks fun. I was like, man, you want one of those, son? I want to build you one of those. Yeah, that's what I fell into.
This week Saturday was Pi Day.
Yeah, yesterday.
And so we had a Pi Day celebration at work, but that's not really important. But someone sent out this video on YouTube about how these guys printed out the first million digits of pi on a piece of paper.
Oh, okay.
And they rolled it out. And it was like
Wow.
a mile, like 1.1 miles long. And we're talking digits about, this big.
Really?
Yeah. And they had all these interesting pi facts. And
Have you seen that visualization of pi, like the first million digits of pi or whatever visualized, where they're all connected or whatever with the different colors, where they go back and forth, and it's this circle, and it shows. Oh my god, it's beautiful! It's this fractal web design. It's very cool. I don't know if I could find it though.
Pi is such a weird thing, weird mathematical thing that just makes so many other things work.
I don't even begin to start to understand how to pi that doesn't make so it's just this ratio that just goes on forever, but somehow you can use that ratio to calculate circles.
Yes.
Like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
I see exactly. You just go, I accept it, but I don't know what that means.
Exactly. It's an irrational constant.
It's an irrational.
Because it's the only thing that it never repeats. Because once it starts repeating, then it's sort of done as a number, but it never repeats.
I just linked it to you. Look at that. It's pi visualized.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The 7s, the 2s, the 4s. And how they all interlink with each other.
Yeah. Looks like a Wiccan summoning circle or some sort.
Yeah.
So you worked yesterday then, huh? Since you were celebrating it?
No, we did on Friday, thankfully.
You work at a weird company.
Why?
That you would celebrate something as insignificant as Pi Day a day before.
Well, it was the engineering groups in the building, so they're a bunch of engineers. So what do you
that
expect
makes sense.
them to do?
Okay, that makes sense. I get it.
And we're terribly bad at socializing with each other, obviously. So they had a pie day.
Did you do anything fancy? Did you take a pie or?
I got a pie, yeah. Oh, dude, that reminds me. I'll have to find the picture, but I saw like the unicorn of terrible things, or awesome terrible things, or things that are so terrible they're awesome. Okay, so at Pi Day, I saw the comb over mullet. So
I'm having a hard time even visualizing such a thing.
Right there.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Anybody watching this listening has to watch the video. I don't know how far we're into this recording, but
About 40. We're just about to hit the 45-minute mark.
go watch the 45-minute mark and find that. Oh, put it back up on screen. Let me see that in glory. I put it up on big screen.
I'll text it to you too.
Awesome. Awesome. How does that work? Is it like a pompadour where he's combing from the top back and covering?
He's basically only has this much hair. He just comes and I saw it.
All right, I'm sorry. We should make fun of that man. That dude's struggling. He has some real issues in his life. We should
just embrace the bald. Do what I do. Just embrace it.
I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm.
You know,
I don't have the best head for being bald, but okay.
I don't either, but it beats trying to pretend you're not.
No, you look good. You know why you look good is because you can do the beard. The beard really helps. Makes you look like a tough man, like a badass.
Yeah, we like to joke that, especially when I have a freshly trimmed up head, that I look like a Viking with my big beard and my shaved.
Don't you have a Viking hat?
I need one. That'd be awesome.
You need a Viking, like one that's knitted for like wintertime, that goes over the ears, then it has like the horns that are like just made out of, they're soft.
They have those. Those things are awesome. I should totally get one.
That'd be awesome for you. Yeah, did you know they found a correlation in men who can grow a beard tend to go bald? So the better you are at growing a beard, the worse you are at keeping your hair.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. And the better you are at keeping your hair, the worse you are at growing a beard. This is me trying.
Well, that makes a lot of sense in my family.
I mean, I haven't shaved in about a week.
Oh, God.
That's Jacob not shaving in a day.
It's not that bad, but...
It's pretty close. It's like 3 days.
Because let's see, I'm getting over an inch.
Damn, dude.
But I take
care. It is a mighty beard.
I take care of it.
Is that difficult to do?
You just gotta, you get some extra products. It's like having nice hair. You get some extra products. Like I have this Honest Amish beard balm. So all these essential oils and conditioners, and after you shower, you get into your beard.
I like how the Amish had to put in there that they're honest. I'm just gonna put this out there.
Yeah, so I comb it every day.
Yeah,
it's weird waking up with bed face instead of bed head. It's bed face. Like especially when it gets longer, and sometimes you'll sleep on your side or something, and it's like squished to your face, and it's like all over here. You're sitting there in the morning trying to comb it out. It's like I did not sign up for this. No one ever told me beards would be this way.
Yeah, what a thing. That's crazy. So is it bad? The girl doesn't mind it?
No. Well, like I have said before, but like I grew it just to kind of piss her off because she said she would never date somebody. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do Movember. And then I went to shave it off after the end of the month, and she told me no. So I said, okay, I'll keep it. And so now I'm kind of getting to the point of like how...
I should shave it off to make her mad.
No, it's more of how long can I grow it and still retain like professionalism at work.
I like it. Looks really good on you.
And I never thought I would be like the bushy, lumberjack beard kind of guy. But apparently I am. Because I enjoy it. I like the way I look. I do look kind of fierce sometimes. Trying to kill some people or something.
Jacob.
Not kill people.
Okay.
Go chop down some mighty timbers.
Yeah, let's go cut down some trees and sail across the ocean.
Slight pillaging. Just a little pillaging.
The lamentation of the women. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I wish we had Arnold Schwarzenegger. I wish there was a young version of him.
I'll find it. I'll find it for everybody. But there's a 30 for 30 short. It's like a 9-minute mini documentary on Arnold, and it's really, really good.
But he was so much fun, those old movies that he used to do.
Well, it's actually like talks about how he won his first, bodybuilding competition and was like in the Ukraine and the military and snuck out. And
what?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. What's your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Oh god, there's so many because
Terminator 2, baby.
Terminator 2 is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yep.
Is it better than 1 to you?
Oh yeah, Terminator 2 is
Yeah.
maybe arguably the best sequel of all time.
Really? Better than Back to the Future?
Back Back to the Future 2 is not as good as Back to the Future 1.
Okay. I'll grant you that. I'll grant you that.
I don't
The
know.
trilogy's an amazing thing, though. I'm so glad they did the trilogy.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic all the way around, but the first movie is the best. But if we're ranking Terminator, I would put it up there with Empire, with Godfather 2, and
Yeah.
and that much better than the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so much better than the first one. God, there's so many good Arnold movies. I don't have that many. I mean, because you got the sort of the jackboot, like military guy killing things. You got your
Yeah,
Predators,
like Predator. Mm-hmm.
which is awesome. I love
Was he an
Predator.
alien or aliens?
No, he was just in Predator. Then you got his comedies, which are hilarious.
Which comedies did he do?
Oh, he did like Twins.
Oh yeah, you're
With
right.
Danny
Those are
DeVito.
good. Yeah, they are good.
And then like Jingle All the Way, which is terrible, but it's still really funny.
It's terrible in a great way, though.
Yes,
It's enjoyable to
one of
watch.
those
Yeah.
I'm trying to I don't know. There's so many good ones. I always liked True Lies, which was sort of a
That's where the one where Katie lived. Kate, what's her name? What was the name of his wife? That's the one where she does the striptease, man. That was the first time I ever saw a chick in underwear. I think that might be my first boner. I was like 8 or whatever, and I happened to
Sexual
watch.
Awakening of Ryan.
Yeah, yeah. I watched that video
It was
with
it's
my parents
also
let me stay up.
James Cameron directed it. Like most people don't realize that, but it was like in between movies for
Is that
him.
Titanic? The guy from that directed Titanic?
Titanic, Avatar.
Oh yeah, Avatar. I forgot about that movie for being such a big deal so many years ago. I hadn't thought about it in years.
Well, that's what happens when it's just all show and no go.
Right. Right, but weren't people suffering from like Avatar withdrawal syndrome, like depression, Avatar depression or whatever they were calling it?
Yeah. I knew some people who saw the movie theater like 10 times.
Really? That's
Yeah.
weird. Some people did that with Titanic too.
They did. Yeah, James Cameron has the two highest grossing films of all time, not adjusted for inflation.
Wow.
Adjusted for inflation, it's either Star Wars 1 or Gone with the Wind.
Really? It's not like E.T. or something else?
E.T.'s up there, but it's either Star Wars or Gone with the Wind if you adjust it for inflation.
Wow, Star Wars still. Hey, did you know that Star Wars is doing a new well, not new, I guess. That's not how to describe it. But well, it is new. The first time they're going to break away from the main storyline and the main characters, and they're going to do a separate movie, like a standalone movie, and it's going to be Rogue One, which if you know anything about the Star Wars universe, Rogue One is the rogue leader of, or the leader of the Rogue Squadron, which is the squadron of X-Wings, right?
Right.
The like the super badass X-Wings pilots.
There was a lot of speculation when the deal first happened for Lucas that this would happen, that there would be separate off. Because, especially by the time the deal happened, they had really kind of figured things out with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They kind of understood how to build the universe around, and you build
These giant storylines that you tie in with main.
Because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the big set pieces are the Avengers movies, and all the other movies build up into the next Avengers movie.
Right.
And so that's probably what they're gonna do. So Rogue One is gonna happen. There's been talk about a Yoda trilogy.
Really?
Which I would love to see.
Which is older?
No, like him probably after the fall, Dagobah, the whole thing.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
It would be interesting. Just for reference, because I've pulled it up, the highest grossing films adjusted for inflation is number one, Gone with the Wind at 3.4 billion.
God, God, damn, what? So that's saying that for that modern time, like, so if for it to make the same amount of money that it made back then worth of value, like of worth, today it would need to make $3.4 billion.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
I'm having a hard time understanding that. What's a big movie right now? Like, what would be a big movie that came out last summer? Like, how much did the last Avengers make? Like a couple hundred million, or did it make a
No,
billion?
it made $1 billion in the U.S.
It made $1 billion
Yeah. Oh, if you're not making $1 billion
with a B.
if you're not making $1 billion as a blockbuster, you're failing. Now, that's why movies are so safe now. Like
Billion.
They're pumping.
I'm having a hard time understanding that.
They're
Oh,
pumping $250 million into making some of these movies and promoting them. It's big
wow,
business.
the numbers are huge there. I
Mhm.
didn't realize.
Well, and that's also one reason why everything's in 3D now too. They can
So what's number
charge,
two? Yeah, $35, $45 a seat or whatever it is.
Avatar's at number 2 at 3 billion.
Damn it, that didn't come out that long ago.
No,
Wow.
this is worldwide, not just in the U.S.
Sure.
That's one
Okay.
reason the numbers are bigger. But
Right. Mhm.
and Star Wars, the original, 2.8.
Damn.
Titanic is number 4
Wow.
at
James Cameron does
2.5.
have two of the best.
Sound of Music is number 5. E.T. is
didn't-
number 6.
I didn't like that movie.
Yeah, it's good once.
I didn't like E.T. either.
Yeah, I'm not.
Too sad and kind of
There's this
slow.
one movie I've never heard of that's made a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah?
Dr. Ziego? Yeah. Dr. Zizago.
Must be a foreign thing.
Must be. But it made $2 billion worldwide, adjusted for inflation.
Damn.
Number 9 is Jaws.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I knew that was a big deal. I didn't realize it was that big a deal.
And the one that changed movies forever, because it really gave birth to Disney, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs at 1.8 billion.
Really?
Release date is 1937.
That's a lot of money to work with. You can really do some things with 1.8 billion.
Well, that's
You
pretty
take some
much
chances and
That's pretty much the entire. They pretty much built all of Disney animation.
I think Cinderella probably did okay too, though, right? Like, I mean, isn't that what the castle Disneyland is based off of? Is
Disney
Cinderella's?
World. Disneyland is Snow White.
Okay, I didn't know the difference. I didn't realize there was a difference.
Yep, there is a difference. And Will said, I know the difference, but I know the difference.
No, don't be sad. Disney World's awesome.
Dude,
I've
Disney
been there.
is amazing.
Yeah,
It's
I've
one
been
of my
there.
favorite places in the world.
Fuck yeah, I would go there with just my wife, or just by myself, or me and you. Like, if that was an opportunity that I had, I could spend a week at Disney by
Easy.
myself. Yeah.
Okay, did you stay on campus? Did you get the magic hours when you went?
We stayed at across the lake at the marina or whatever it was, where you could rent cabins in the woods.
Oh
for
yeah,
like
yeah,
a camping experience.
Yeah, we did that. We did that one year.
Mm-hmm. And we would go out on the beach and we would watch the fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did pay for or however it worked out, where you get to stay late on Saturday night or Friday night or Thursday night or whatever night it is when you get there. And they had the Magic Kingdom open real late, but it was only for
And that's awesome.
whatever. That was awesome.
You're just walking onto rides.
Yeah, exactly. Or you're just walking up to people like because one of the greatest things about Disney is almost everybody that works there is kind of an artist, or
They're in character.
they're in character. I don't know how to describe it. They might be themselves, but they're the Disney selves. They can do something funny, or they're good at jokes, or they can give you a hard time in a fun, playful way. You know, they'll hand you something, they'll take it away, and they make everybody laugh. Or even this kind of awkward, funny looking lady. You know, she's just cleaning stuff, and she was cleaning the windows in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
and nobody's watching her because it's at it's almost at closing time on after hours. So there's not really hardly almost anybody there. It's like midnight or something, or 1 o'clock in the morning, and she's cleaning the windows. But every time she sprays the soap on the window, she draws a different Disney character. So she draws Donald with this, the spray can, that sprays the soap. She's like, shh. She's like a graffiti artist, but she's doing Disney characters with soap, and then she cleans it off. It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah, everything about
We're gonna watch
Disney.
this video right now because this is exactly what you're talking about, and I will. Let's see. I'll just pull it up here so our lovely audience can see it. Okay, this is a guy challenging Gaston to a push-up contest.
Awesome.
All right, you ready?
Do you think he's wearing something that? Oh no, you gotta link it to me.
Oh, did I not link it to you?
Oh, asshole. I like the new headphones, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
What'd you do? What's up with those?
I got them so I could use the monitoring on the mic because the USB ones, because the ones I were using, the ones that glow, USBs.
Nice.
All right.
I understand. All right, so I'm at 0.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Saw Philly said I had 3 beers. Yeah, I know.
All right, so he's talking about having beers and giving these guys a hard time.
Pretty strong? You think you're pretty strong? No, who told you that? I think I'm stronger.
I think I'm stronger than you. I'm the strongest man alive.
Stronger than me?
So this is the guy dressed up as Gaston, which is the character out of Beauty and the Beast,
Push-up contest.
and he's the big burly strong man, right?
Okay, boy, I have a challenger in a push-up contest.
All right, so he's challenging Gaston to a push-up contest. This is fun.
Where's the prize at? Where's the prize?
Where's the prize? Where's the prize? It'll be me. So some girl volunteers to give a kiss as a prize.
That's not even worth it.
Okay. Someone say go when you're ready.
Ready? Okay. Ready? Go! 1, 2,
Boy, hurry up, you're strong.
He's giving him a hard time. Hurry up.
He looks like he's
He looks like he's struggling.
struggling. He needs a hand.
Maybe he needs a hand. He starts doing one-handed push-ups like they're no big deal. Does he have a device that lets him do that?
I think he's just that strong.
All right, so he's matching this guy's push-ups 1 for 1, but he's only doing it with one arm.
That kind
awesome.
of stuff. That kind of stuff.
That is awesome. Highly enjoyable. Yeah, have you seen the one where the people can draw on the ground with the mops?
Oh yeah, that's awesome too.
Yeah, it's fun. They challenge each other to draw off contests, and they get everybody in a crowd, and you have to vote for who won by clapping. And yeah, if you ever can go, man, Disney is as magical as they describe. It really is. It's magical.
You need all of y'all, and a lot of y'all probably have, but have you seen Confessions of a Disney Employee on YouTube?
No.
It's done by s1e8, who worked there in high school. s1e8's a big YouTube guy. I don't know if he's a professional YouTuber, but they're hilarious, and he hand animates everything.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
fun.
So it's hilarious. But last time I went, I stayed at the Boardwalk, which is behind Epcot. So it's in between Epcot and Disney Hollywood.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we had magic hours, so I hit the park right at the fireworks. So I watched the fireworks, and where we come in is right by the English pub in England in the around the world tour in Epcot.
Jealous about this.
So I hit it, and I drink hard for like an hour, because it's open till 2, right?
Right. Let's just go ahead and get a little.
I do a couple car bombs, drink a couple beers, good.
Let's get a little toasty
and
and
I'm
go
by
walk
myself, right?
Oh, I'm jealous.
And so I just start. It's like, all right, let's do Epcot. I'm kind of drunk. Let's go have some fun.
You want to hear about my great Epcot experience?
Sure.
So they have a restaurant. Oh man, it's the French restaurant. You know how they have like 3 levels of restaurants in each place?
Uh-huh.
They have the place that you can just walk up and grab some food, and it'll be French food, right, for everybody during the day. Then they have like the medium grade, like $30 plates where you can go sit down.
Right.
Or that every place, not every place, but like 3 or 4 different places in Epcot have 5-star restaurants.
We called them 2 tickets because there are 2 tickets on the meal plan.
No, there's another one.
Is there a 3-ticket one?
Well, I don't know what it is. I don't think you can use tickets.
Oh, you
But-
can. You can. Everything there is available on the meal plan. Anyway, Anyway, continue with your story.
It may be, but it's above the place where you pay like the 2 or 3 tickets below, where you go in and you sit. There's a restaurant above it. And it was what? It was unbelievably nice. And when I say unbelievably nice, it reminded me of Ratatouille, where the waiter, there's only a waiter for like 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3 tables at a piece,
Right.
And anyway, it doesn't really matter. We had the duck. It was amazing. But I'll just tell you that we were sitting. So you know how Epcot has, it's a big circle and they've got the lake in the middle?
Right.
And they do the fireworks out of the middle with the fire and all that? So as they're serving us our dessert, which is the kind of dessert that's it's a sphere of chocolate, just this round ball of chocolate sitting in this plate. That's all it is, right? And you're like, okay, that's, looks okay. And as they serve it to you, they pour this syrup over the top. And this syrup is hot enough that it melts this thin shell of chocolate, and it starts to just kind of collapse and melt in on itself. And as it does, it presents this most beautiful berry and ice cream like chocolate sundae thing, and it all just kind of melts and falls down with the sauce, and it's gorgeous. And we're sitting at on the second level in the French on the French side, and they're shooting the fireworks off in the middle. It was beautiful.
Oh, nice.
But me and Blake, I did have 2 drinks. I had the dessert cognac, and I had a Jack and Coke when I got there.
Mm-hmm.
We both had the duck, and we had an appetizer, and we shared a dessert. Care to take a guess at the price?
$150.
Care to take another guess?
$250.
$258. Between 2 people, $258.
That's what you get for that kind of food, that kind of food. I mean, it's world
It was-
class too. That's the thing that I think most people don't think about. Like, they think it's not a normal amusement park.
It was
these
the
people
nicest
are
meal I've ever
world
eaten.
class. Like they legit 5-star restaurants.
a true 5-star in any review. You could go, anybody could go review it and it'd be a 5-star restaurant. Our waiter did not write anything down. Not a single waiter wrote a single thing down while we were there. There was no delay in time and service, and everything was nice. And our waiters were French. They were from France.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal for them.
He had his name and he spoke in the English accent and he had the attitude because I didn't know which duck to get and stuff. I was like, oh, this is real authentic. He was nice, but you could tell he was like, oh, peasant. Like you don't know which one to get,
Yeah, when I got my car bombs, the guy in the restaurant was from Ireland,
Yeah.
And he was like, we don't like to call them car bombs. I'm like, why? He's like, because they actually bomb cars in Ireland. I'm
Because
like,
they actually
oh,
bomb
right.
cars there, right? So
My bad.
the IRA or whatever it was.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely when you have like 10, 15 minutes, check out Confessions of a Disney Employee. It is hilarious. It is one of the best things on YouTube.
Someday me and you are going to go there on vacation
Yes, we will.
and we'll enjoy it.
I'm trying. My boss came from Disney. He worked as an engineer for Disney, and his wife still works at Disney. But she works from home, and so I'm trying to talk him into giving me his discount for rooms, because I think he can get like 40-50% off.
Hook me up, man. What's up? Let's go, dude.
Yeah. So if I can make that happen, I'm gonna take Kelly for her anniversary. Shh, don't tell anyone. She doesn't listen to this podcast, so it works out.
Awesome. Kind of. That's one of those like half awkward meme, half success pigeon, penguin meme from Reddit.
Right.
You're like, I've got all this awesome stuff from my wife, and I just explained it, and she doesn't listen to the podcast, the bottom half.
But I'm just like, oh no, crap! I just said it to everyone on the internet. No one tell her.
Please, right? Nobody tell her.
Okay, I want to switch gears a little bit. Since we
Sure.
talked about last week, we talked about the greatest movies of all time according to Reddit. Or was that 2 weeks? I think that was last week.
I think it was last week.
So according to Slant Magazines, I have found the 100 greatest video games of all time. So you care to take a crack at some of them? And,
Okay. Let's see how many points I can get for like the top. If I can get one in the top 20, okay.
Okay, well, I'm just looking at the top 10. So we're only going top
Top 10?
10 here.
Top 10. Fallout 3 is going to be in there.
Not in the top 10. Let's check out the next 10.
Okay, no, I'm gonna go real. I'm gonna go more serious on this.
Okay.
Top 10, Mario, and I'm gonna say specifically Mario. God, I wonder how they rate this. Is because they either put Mario like Super Mario Brothers, or they put Mario 64. They might have put them both, but I doubt it. I'm gonna go with Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers is not in the top 10. Super Mario World, the SNES, which is widely considered the best, is number 17.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
man, I'm 0 for 2 then. So do they put any of the Zeldas in,
Yes.
like Majora's Mask? I mean, Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time to them is number 1.
Oh,
It's the greatest game of all time. You want me to give you a couple of the bottom rungs?
yeah, I hit the top one. Why not?
Number 10, according to Slant Magazine,
Mm-hmm.
BioShock.
The original?
The original BioShock.
Okay, I'm not gonna agree with that, but fine. It's not. What? Fuck that. Fallout 3 is way better than Bioshock. I'm getting mad all of a sudden. Anyway,
Number 9, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. So 2 Zeldas. In the top
awesome.
10.
That I totally agree with this. Oh, hey, I don't want to derail the subject too much,
Uh-huh.
but I moved about 5 months ago, and my cat ran away.
Aw.
Outside smoking a cigarette Friday night on Friday the 13th, and she comes back about 5 months later. So everybody say hi to Seven,
Hi,
the
Seven.
unofficial official mascot. Hi. So anyway, all right. So what's number 8?
Number 8 is Braid.
Braid.
Mhm.
I don't even know what Braid is.
It's a platformer, and it was one of the first really big indie games, like really big download on your Xbox kind of games.
Okay, I might have to check that one out then. What's up?
It's got a really good time mechanic.
Did you play it?
Yes, I played it. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, fuck you. Be mad if you've played more games in the top 10 than I have.
I've played most of these.
Okay.
Number 7 is Portal.
Yeah. How about Beat? How many of these have you beaten?
Oh, God. None of
I've
them.
beaten Portal, and I've beaten Majora's Mask. And what was number 10?
BioShock.
I've beaten Bioshock.
I didn't beat Brave. I got pretty deep into it.
Brave, like Brave.
Braid. Braid.
Okay, I'll check that one out.
Let's see. Number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Care to take a guess? Just a stab in the dark.
Halo?
Half-Life 2.
Oh, of course. Sure, Half-Life should be in there.
I mean, because
Considering that half the internet is waiting on Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
Like literally half the internet.
All right, you've managed to guess number 1. Let's see if you can't get some of the top 5.
Right. Okay, so we're going into 5?
Number 5.
They're going to put a Grand Theft Auto in there, huh?
Not in the top 5.
God, I'm bad at this game. I am bad at this game. I'm trying to think about. All right, let me. Greatest video games ever. Greatest
Ever.
video games
According to
ever.
these people.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye was number 11.
Ooh. Interesting. Final Fantasy 7 or 4?
Final Fantasy 7 is 16.
God, that's weird. No, go ahead, man. I'm having a hard time with these. I'm going to be surprised, I think.
Number 5 is Shadow of the Colossus.
Of course I am. I haven't played that. Is that a good game?
It's gorgeous, and I've played some of it. It's fun, but I know people like anyone who's played it are just like that game.
Is that on Steam? Here, link the don't link the list yet.
Okay.
Um,
Now
so that
number
was 4.
number
So what are
4
we on,
I
3?
don't number 4 I don't get. I
Okay.
just don't get number 4. So I'll just Red Dead Redemption.
No.
I don't fucking get
It is
it.
not better than Fallout 3. It is not better than the original Zelda or the original Mario or Halo. Is Skyrim in there? Skyrim's probably something
Not
that
that I've seen.
the
But
internet
I've
would
only
think
looked
was.
through the first.
No, I thought top 10. I thought it might be top 10.
All right, so number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 2 more in the top 3.
Yeah,
One of them, you're beating right around it. You're just not there yet.
Are they taking in like more like World of Warcraft, like that kind of video game?
Well, it's not in the top 10.
Okay.
Okay, you've mentioned every great Nintendo franchise but one.
I mentioned Mario.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned Zelda.
Uh-huh.
Mega Man, Metroid. Is Metroid in there?
Super Metroid, 1994 is number 3. And yeah, I kind of have to agree with him. Super Metroid is awesome. And
That's fine.
Number
Yeah.
2 is a big one. And it's an old one. It's an SNES game.
Super NES game,
It's
greatest ever. What is it, dude?
Chrono Trigger.
Didn't play that.
It's supposed to be one of the greatest RPGs of all time.
It's an RPG.
Mm-hmm. Like
Interesting.
classic.
Chrono.
Uh-huh.
Chrono.
Everyone who I've ever known who's really loved RPGs, this is the game. Like it is like, why do you like this game? Like it says in the description, why do you like RPGs? Chrono Trigger. And that's just
Okay, because RPGs are one of my favorite things in gaming, so
pull out
I'd
your
like to check.
emulator and go to town.
I need to. I don't have it in it.
Like-
I don't have any of the emulators working. I can't figure it out. For as much as I can just read plain English and try to do stuff on the internet, I have a hard time making that shit work.
Yeah, depending on how they're coded, they can be just really stupid and cumbersome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger is one of those games where you still they still sell for like $25-$30. The cartridges do.
So you said Shadow of Colossus?
Shadow of the Colossus.
It's not on Steam.
Yeah, I think at one point when it came out, it was a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, PlayStation 2.
Well, I don't wholly agree with that list. The fact that a Fallout didn't make it in there doesn't make any sense to me. But maybe, the Chrono Triggers make up for it. The Zeldas are on point. I mean, you can't put, Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time 1 and 2, but that's where they should be. Those are two of the greatest video games ever, man. I think Fallout 3 is probably better than Majora's Mask.
I'm a little surprised they went those two Zelda games in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
If they were going to do two Zelda games, I figured they would have done A Link Between Worlds, the SNES Zelda.
Link to the Past?
Is that Link to the Past? I can never keep them straight.
I think it's Link to the Past.
And those, I mean, a lot of people consider that the best. A lot of people still consider that the best Zelda.
Yep.
Like people get like shouting matches over which is the best Zelda, Ocarina of Time or SNES Zelda.
Majora's Mask. I mean, I know I'm in the minority, but the reason I enjoy a Zelda game is for the collecting of the heart pieces or the gold Scatola masks or the candy pieces or the fireflies or the whatever it is, the fairies and stuff, collecting every super up and every power so you can go beat Ganon in like one cycle. And the one that had the greatest 100%. So if you're going to beat the game for 100%, Majora's Mask. It was the greatest game ever because you only have 3 days to beat the game and the clock is constantly ticking.
Right.
So to get everything done at the end of the third day, you have to go back to the beginning of the first day and start it over. So to get everything done, you have to change the timelines. And what was so great about the game is if you did something during the day, on like day one, it might stop an interaction between two people, or it might create an interaction between two people. And that would change the storyline for everybody else in that little town that you were interacting with. So you might have to manipulate 3 or 4 other people just so the guy at the milk shop isn't there, so you can sneak behind the counter and get the last heart piece. Because he had to go out and stop somebody that got in a fight outside the door, or just different things like that. That game was a blast. So much fun. And it was cool because you would do something that would contradict yourself the next time you went through the world. You would set something up and then you would go back and you would see what would happen exactly if you did the opposite. because each little decision tree leads you to a different heart piece or upgrade of some sort.
Right.
Yeah, it was the greatest game ever. I got an interesting little information about video games.
All right.
It's pretty basic, but I thought it was kind of interesting. It is a breakdown of popular video games by gender, like who likes to play them.
Video games by gender.
Yeah, like the gender gap in
That's
video
the
games. I thought it was interesting. So something called SingStar, I don't even know what that is 65%
Send the
women.
link again. I don't think you copied it right because I just got the Star Wars link.
Oh, that's weird. That is what's brought up right now, too.
Hit refresh. I'll probably pull it up.
Yeah, I did. I just got it now. My bad. So anyway, yeah. Is that it? Did you get it?
Mm-hmm.
So something called SingStar, which I don't even know what that is. It sounds like a singing game. 65% females.
Right.
Apparently Candy Crush is played by mostly females. You see almost a 50-50 split with Mario Kart.
Right.
I thought that was interesting in a game that I've never even heard of. I don't even know what that is. Do you?
No.
That's the best 50-50 split. I was surprised at how many females played World of Warcraft, though. 39% by this survey.
I am shocked how few females play Dota and League. Holy God.
Yeah, when you finally get down to the bottom where the men are really,
Mm-hmm. Like Eve does not shock me that it's 4% women. That does
yeah,
not
so EVE Online is the online space simulation game.
It's battle spreadsheets is what it is. It's just battle spreadsheets.
Battle spreadsheets.
Yeah, like it's basically battle spreadsheets. Like,
Yeah, with like a visual like background, with like a graphical background. That's exactly what it is. But it is. I am not gonna lie. I have turned on the EVE Online port. Like there's a spaceport in EVE Online, like a real busy one, and a guy sets up his ship with his camera facing the port, so you can see people coming and going, and then he just plays like cool music on Twitch, and you get this like just nice background of these ships, jumping out of hyperspace and kind of, floating, and these other ones like moving around and then jumping off into hyperspace, and you get to see this busy EVE Online port. It's really fun. Sometimes it's just relaxing to have on because he plays good music. But only 4% of people that play EVE Online is women. It's the same for Dota 2, though.
it surprises me.
Right. Like, I thought... Because doesn't your wife like to play?
She does.
Mm-hmm. What about... I also thought that... I figured Assassin's Creed would be a lot more females.
Yeah. I mean...
Assassin's Creed's only 19% females play that one. More females play Call of Duty than Assassin's Creed?
That does
Question mark.
Well, Call of Duty is the bigger franchise, and so they probably, because there's a lot of guys out there that pretty much only play like Call of Duty, and so there's probably a lot more.
Like girlfriends and wives, like playing.
There's a lot more exposure to the females.
Right.
Because if you look at this, it's mostly the more violent the game, the less females play it in general.
Well, except like Minecraft. I thought that was interesting. Oh yeah, I guess in general the more. But
I mean, Minecraft doesn't have to be violent.
Except EVE Online isn't violent, really. It's there's people in there that make a living just by like trading and.
Oh yeah, but it's
just transport.
I don't know. I don't know how people get hooked on Eve. I really don't.
I don't either. I didn't even buy it.
I played it for a couple days. And was like, God, this is terribly boring. Why does anyone like this?
It's the community getting involved with one of those, or fitting into the stories. I mean, I enjoy reading the Reddit tales of like somebody will print up why one of the big giant wars happened. Did you know that they've had wars on EVE Online that have cost millions of dollars worth of economic damage?
Mm-hmm.
Millions of dollars, where they've lost ships that require 900 players to fully man. Yeah, that was the other thing that I thought was crazy about EVE Online. You can have a ship in there worth 250 grand.
Oh yeah, because there's a definitive there's an actual conversion rate between the dollar and whatever currency they use in the game.
Right. You can
So
buy
you can get
currency.
actual values
Hmm.
for things in dollars.
So
It,
one of the command ships, one of the giant ships that require so many resources in the game that if you were to just buy it, the amount of resources that would be required would be $235,000 real life money. Or whatever it is. I could probably just Google that, huh? What would you Google? EVE Online ship costs?
I'm looking right now for
Yeah, you're way better at it than I am.
because I remember reading about it when it happened and just thinking it was super interesting.
I've always
Uh,
seen you as the kind of person that would find some niche like that and start extracting value out of it.
yeah, I would have to I would have had to have figured out a way to like get in there, like actually get into the game.
Yeah, but like when Diablo was offering their auction house,
It was terrible from what everything I understood. Like it just did not work well.
well, that's probably true. Probably true. Wow, the screenshots, like the stills, are amazing from
Mhm.
the battle. Have you ever played? Have you ever been involved in like an online RPG kind of game like that, where you had real investment in your character, like over a length of time?
Uh,
Not like your main in Dota. That's a little different. But like a character that started as a level 1 and ended as a level 90 or 50 or whatever it was, and you know, or even in like Counter Strike or Team Fortress 2, did you ever have like cool hats
oh
or
yeah.
anything of real value that you felt kind of cool about?
I sold it, but I had a gun for the demo in TF2 that I sold for like $75.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I had a level 19. So in World of Warcraft, the max level at the time was 70.
Right.
But the code was manipulatable at like say level 19 because you could go and play at level 10 was the first time you could go play other characters in like battles, like PvP battles. So I'm a horde player and I can go fight the alliance and capture the flag. So we go play this online 10 versus 10 game in this little you load into a different section of the game completely. Well, the highest level that you could play in the level 10 bracket was a level 19 because the next bracket was 20 through 29. So people would build what they called twinks. So a level 19 twink. It was just maxed out level 19. It was as badass as you could possibly make it. I had a twink probably worth 2.5, 4 grand.
Wow.
It had 68.2% to dodge. So I could take on a level 70 and I had a button that gave me like 30 or 20% extra amount of dodge or no, it was like 40% amount of dodge for 15 seconds. So I would literally have 120% to dodge for 40 seconds. I couldn't get hit by the highest level character at all if they were trying to attack me with melee damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun. I could, so that was the greatest cool thing I ever had like in a video game RPG setting. I had a level
Nice.
19 twink.
Yeah.
And he had all the craziest things. It was cool.
I never could really get into the grinding of an RPG. I just couldn't do it. It just got
I
boring for me.
I couldn't get into the leveling. I hated to level my character. But once the character was level, getting the things to be badass was actually enjoyable. It triggers that hunter-gatherer sense of like success. Like, oh, I need all these strawberries to survive. And then in the video game that equates to I need all this thorium ore, because I'm going to complete this sword or whatever it is. So
Mm-hmm.
once you get that ore, you get that same primal response to like, yes, I succeeded. You know, that's what it is. That's where
Yeah.
that's
From what
the
I
addiction.
understood is like if you're really gonna do it, you gotta have friends who are doing it to kind of help you through it. And so
Yeah, how
that's.
much more fun is Dota to play when your wife's playing or when you're playing by yourself?
I mean, Yeah, well, it depends. She can get she gets really angry when she loses.
So when
But
you're
that's a whole
winning
other
and you're
story.
playing with your wife, how much more fun is it? You know, like if
But
you're
yeah,
playing with your
yeah.
good, like if me and you were just running around collecting ore and we're talking shit,
Right,
you
right,
know, we weren't
exactly.
doing this, but we were just playing. It was an excuse for us to be together and hang out and talk. I could
Right.
understand.
As one of my friends from college, she said that WoW was the prettiest instant messenger I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I can get that. That makes sense to me. But the actual just playing the game itself was just terribly boring. Like I
No, not once you
tried.
get to the high level. Once you go into the high level and you're having to work like they had like 10-man and 40-man or 20-man dungeons where you have to go in and work as a team as 20 men
Mm,
or women, whatever. Fuck, I'm not being, sexist or whatever. But you just
20
go in and work
persons.
as a team, and you have to fight bosses and you have to fight through these mobs, and it takes coordinated teamwork. And I don't mean just kind of a little bit, but really specific, really on point, coordinated teamwork. And when 20 or 10 people work perfectly, like where you have to trust this guy to do his job or everybody dies and he does his job and you do yours, and there's things that you have to do that are very like high pressure, like I got to get it done, I got to get it done, I got to right now, I got to dispel this guy, and you succeed, that feeling of success is just like, oh, yeah. You'll talk for an hour afterwards about how excited you are. You know all those people that you see running around and just jumping around in the city? Those are successful people. They just did something cool and they're just too excited to stop moving around.
The one RPG I was like, I might be able to get into this was The Crew. It's a
Oh,
racing
the car game.
RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I
like,
saw that.
I like racing games.
It does look fun.
I need to pull Grid out. I haven't played that in a while.
I am going to get into iRacing, and I think you should get into it with me.
What is iRacing?
It is it's the best online racing simulation. And the way they keep it awesome is that it's a $9 a month subscription game.
Okay.
And the way it works is there's 50 to 60,000 people that are active members that pay,
Mm-hmm.
and they do series. So we could join like the Miata Club series, and we would have to
Ah,
race each week, and we would get points, and and it is probably the most realistic simulation game out there.
I'll have to
That
check it out.
incorporates everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever interested in being a professional race car driver, this is where you start pretty much. Unless you were fortunate enough to have a parent that was going to put you in go-karts when you were 6 and move you through the actual
The
race car
ranks.
field.
Mm-hmm.
But you can potentially gather all the basics you need to be a low-level professional race car driver. Or if you want, there are people in iRacing that are successful enough that they make money racing in iRacing.
Nice. Like
Like
professionally?
there is a professional iRacing series. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
They don't make much, but it is a thing.
It's a wonderful and interesting, and this kind of leads right into one of the big thoughts, the nicer big thought I've had this week, um, about how we are moving into a very interesting time where you can be a professional gamer, you can be a professional person who has knowledge of Star Trek. If your knowledge about Star Trek is good enough,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I just, before we get really far into this, I was just wondering if we could take like a 5-minute break. I gotta go.
okay,
Yeah. I don't know. I was just wondering if it was okay with you if we took like a 5-minute break for me to go.
that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Hang on.
And I will play everyone some musics. Do, 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 do. Not really. I will actually play real music because I'm a nice guy like that, and I really don't feel like editing this out, which is a pain. Maybe I should probably actually try the YouTube editor. It might be easier, but I don't have a lot of time to handle these videos, so I do the best I can to not have to edit them because my computer is old, and yeah, it's just not good. So here we are, Mr. Adam Warrock, who was gracious enough to let us use his music, a high school reunion from the album The Middle of Nowhere.
I never went to my high school reunion. Ain't nothing I could tell them. Ain't nothing I could do with them. Ain't nothing I could be. No symbol martyr, just me. Never knew me at all. So tell me, who am I supposed to be when I do it like this? I never went to my high school reunion. Ain't nothing I could tell them. Ain't nothing I could do with them. Ain't nothing I could be. No symbol martyr, just me. Never knew me at all. So tell me, who am I supposed to be when I do it like this? Yeah. Took a bit just to let it all soak in. Born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. Little skater punk with the rap skills making his way around the pulpit. And the Southern Baptists would say that music was the devil and I let it go to my head. Used to fall asleep with my Discman spinning around with the headphones spilling from my bed. Instead, high school for me, I was scared just to let the other kids really see everything I wanted to be. So I hit that lost in the west side of Tennessee. In the southern white culture, black still thrive. A little Asian kid just tried to stay alive. And I grew up pissed at the world. Now I put that shit inside of every MP3. Digitally, they didn't know that they were fixing to see the little kid in me, that he was Asian to be the illest MC ever to be. And so I started making music so relevantly, and so inevitably ignoring what everyone was telling to me. And I competitively just started wrecking the scene. And now people that I knew what way back then all lied. What's up with you, G? Hope it's Adam now, and I'm goddamn proud of this thing that I made straight up from the ground. If you didn't know it then you know it now. I'm running with a different kind of crowd than when I started out. Instead, just talking about the things that come out whenever the mic is pointed at my mouth. And I'm gonna say it loud. Nah, man, just the rapper from way down south.
Anyway, that leads us into the next big thought. Yeah. I'm sorry, keep going.
Okay, it looks like we are all back. Got right buttons, yay. It's giving our audience a taste of during the break.
Nice.
Yes, some Adam Warrock.
Nice. Hope they enjoyed it.
I did too. So big thought, big idea. Not really big, just observation. It's hard to come up with a big thought every week. It's really ground shit, life-changing thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty out there. There's no reason that you couldn't use somebody else's big thought just to have a discussion point.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, if you just wanted to be like, I was reading this and was like, holy crap, this is a really big deal. I wanted to see what you thought on it. It's completely acceptable in this context, I think. I mean, that's where really great discussions come from.
Right.
I heard someone say this.
Right. Well, since we did have a break and it's kind of a nice break, I'm going to go to the deeper of the two, the one that just really made me angry. And I'm just going to come out and say it because a lot of people, I think, may or may not disagree. But hitting a woman is worse than being a racist. There you go. In
what way? This is an interesting subject because I might be on the other side.
So the University of Oklahoma, which full disclosure, I hate with a just unbridled passion. One of their fraternities, s1e8, had this really racist chant. They were basically saying nigger all the time, and so all of their football players.
I don't know. Wait, slow down. Don't gloss over that part. What did they say?
I would have to.
How bad was it?
I would have to pull up the video again. I mean, I didn't think it was. I mean,
was it like the Jeremy Clarkson, any, mini, mighty mo, catch a by the toe? I have heard that all over the South for a long time. That's not that big a deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but it's not as big a deal as like a KKK rally song of some sort.
It was.
How close? What was the spectrum?
I didn't
How bad
find it
was
all
it?
that offensive, but I'm also white, so I'd say like a 6 if we're talking 1 to 10 offensive scale. But
And we live in a society where that a 1's too much, so that's the issue.
Maybe, but
anyway,
no,
keep going.
I'm getting there. I'm trying to.
Right? Yeah, just go ahead and keep going.
And so the football players, the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooner football team, they've made videos. And
You're mortal enemies.
Mortal enemies, but that's beside the point at this point.
Let's just be clear about that. Oh, it is? Okay.
They put all these videos, silent protests, like, we're not going to play unless you kick these guys out of school,
Okay.
et cetera, et cetera. And the reason, and this is where this kind of came out, is currently on the roster, and one of the people protesting has been tried, found guilty, and they have video of him breaking his girlfriend's jaw with a right hook. And so,
Who that guy? What was that guy that what was that guy that recently did that?
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice. I was gonna say Stephen Rice, but I was like, that's not right. That's too
and
white.
so, I mean,
It's
full
Jerry.
on breaking his girlfriend's jaw, and he's on the football team, and the coach isn't saying a word about that. And he hurt. I mean, it's bad enough that he broke anyone's jaw, but especially a woman who wasn't trying to fight him. So as long as your racism doesn't hurt someone else, you just want to hate somebody because they're a different color, it's not as bad as hitting someone, and especially not as bad as hitting a woman.
I think you should have the right. You should be completely allowed to hate somebody if you want.
Oh, you do have the right.
But your right to hate somebody stops as soon as your fist comes in contact with their face.
Exactly. And so
That's when your right stops. And that's when my rights begin. Right? I mean, isn't that how we define that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in a real just kind of black and white world, you can throw the punch until it hits me. And then once it hits me, it's, you're invading my rights, my territory, my space, my sovereignty, really. And I think doing something illegal like hitting your girlfriend and breaking her jaw is a lot worse than doing something that's legal.
Right.
I mean, if society has such an issue with it, they need to go to jail. But you're talking to a guy who hasn't even listened to the video. I have no idea what they said. And I don't know how bad it is. I don't know what it was. But I know that there's a lot of traditional songs that, if listened to carefully, are not good.
No.
They don't promote the right things. And I don't know if it was a frat party's type of battle song. I mean, I don't understand how the entire frat was singing it. Some type of song like that has to be pretty traditional.
From what I understand, it is a very traditional for that fraternity song.
Well, okay. I mean, so that's
maybe you can almost divorce the actual situation from what I'm just actually saying. Is even if I go up to anyone and call them a nigger or spink or wetback or
spick or
whatever,
hook nose or what? Yeah, sure. We got a bunch of them.
That's not nearly as bad as me hitting a woman. That's just not nearly as bad. It's not that bad.
So that's fine.
I don't hate anyone unless they deserve it. But, I'm no racist. But it would be better for me to be a racist and not hit a woman than for me to not be racist and hit a woman.
Is that what really? If that's what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody that's listening is going to agree,
Okay.
right? I'd rather be called a cracker. Well, I'm a white person, but if I was a black guy, I'd rather be called a nigger than I would for you to not call me a nigger and hit me in the face. Like
Right.
This is like even if you really want to boil it down to way more than just a girl or a guy, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Call me what you want before you hit me, right? That's fine. But are what we're discussing here about Oklahoma quite that?
Well,
Because what we're talking about is an individual hitting his girlfriend and breaking her jaw,
right.
or a group which is that represents the school in a way,
Well, right.
in a more public forum,
Well, it was
chanting this.
It wasn't really a public forum. It was just a cell phone video that got uploaded from some kegger they were having.
Unfortunately, we live in the time of the internet.
Right.
Things are becoming more and more public.
The thing that
This is really representation of the growing pains of the loss of privacy.
Right, but the thing is you have, especially the head football coach, who is the highest paid state employee. He makes almost $4 million a year.
Oh, that's pretty good money.
And he is decrying this while allowing a woman beater to stay on his football team. Because, you know what, those frat guys, they're not going to impact his job one little bit. But
He loses a star player.
Right. And, it's something I will give a shout out to the Oklahoma State head coach, Mike Gundy, is... So last year in Bedlam, which is our big, annual rivalry game between OU and OSU, Tyreek Hill, who was the fastest guy in football, he breaks a 92-yard punt return to send us into overtime. We were 3 or 4 touchdown underdog. We should have just gotten rolled. We go into overtime. We win in overtime, right? So this is Saturday. Tuesday, Tyreek Hill gets arrested for domestic abuse of his girlfriend. By Thursday night, he's off the team and out of OSU completely. And I was just like, so when you have those two levels, it just filled me with such rage when I heard about it. I'm like, really, really, Stoops? Like, he's one of those guys I want to like. Like the Oklahoma head coach, he seems like a really nice guy. He does a lot of good things for community, but it's so hypocritical. And he's just a terrible, that to me makes him a terrible person. That he's willing to keep someone like that on his football team. And then also, you either got to keep your mouth shut or, be stand up both ways.
I agree with you completely. I don't understand. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing because we're talking about a group of people that are semi-representing the schools, but it was just a video that was uploaded off a cell phone. It's a song sang by tradition. It was kind of semi-private. It was at a party. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to beat your girlfriend up. That's worse. That guy should be kicked off the team.
It's worse, yeah.
But I would also say that those guys probably should be. Man,
I don't even know if I don't even know if they.
They should be allowed to sing their song.
They
in my
should be.
opinion.
It's free. I mean, this is where free speech cuts the other direction.
Yeah, this is where they should be allowed to say something that offends you.
And I don't agree with it. I don't agree with what they're saying. But
see, that's where that should be the definition. People should understand the difference. They should have the right to say it.
Right.
And I should have the right to be offended.
The right to association and so like the universe, it's going to be interesting to watch because the university suspended the fraternity. And for those who don't know, like fraternities are big deals. I mean, they're big companies, millions and millions of dollars in the national fraternities' pockets.
Really? I didn't know that.
Huge. Oh yeah. And they're going.
I guess I could assume, but yeah.
They're going to war with OU over this, so I'm very interested to see what happens. They've already filed lawsuits to get them back, reinstated and put back on campus.
Well, they should have the right to say it, and they shouldn't be kicked out for it. But there should be social repercussions for saying it. Once they're exposed as those people, then the people that associate with them should affect their relationships. It should be okay to affect their personal and professional relationships.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
You shouldn't be able to send them, you can't kick them out of school and you can't send them to jail. But that isn't an endorsement of what they said either.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's what makes it so hard to talk about a lot of this stuff is.
We end up on Tumblr, on some blog, or we end up on Twitter being crucified as racist because we said something that supports
so many things.
So many times over and over.
So,
but as a person that wants, a person that would hope or aspire to do this for a living, I mean, this is talking. I need to be allowed to say whatever I want to say.
And we're also not saying go burn down the motherfucking church or whatever.
Right.
We're not saying that.
We're not saying it's okay to kill little babies or something, or that it's okay for extreme terrorist jihads. Right.
Absolutely.
Your rights stop as soon as they affect somebody else's. You shouldn't be able to hit me. That's it.
Right.
And when they do, I should have the right to defend mine.
Absolutely.
It's actually fairly simple.
At least it feels that way. At least it
feels that way.
It never is that simple, sadly.
Yeah, everything's fun on the internet. Easy on the internet.
Yeah. I don't know if race and race relations is something we want to get on right now, but it'll be an interesting discussion at some point because I don't know. I don't know if I have a lot of opinions, but I do have opinions I think would be fun to talk about.
Oh yeah, well I am not worried about what people think of me as a racist. I do have interesting opinions, but they're more generalized than just race. But yeah, if you ever want to, sure we can talk about them.
Like the thing,
but I will.
I feel like I feel like race relations have gotten worse. Actually, I'm pretty sure they've gotten a lot worse. Cause like
Since when?
since like when I was a kid. Cause like when I
Mm,
growing up, one of my favorite, you know, on-screen dads was from Family Matters. You know, I loved.
right, but we are the generation of the not racist generation.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
It's our parents. I don't know. It seems to be weird, but it seems like my great grandparents weren't that bad, but my grandparents were worse. And then, so my mom and my dad in that generation, I'm not going to say my mom and my dad specifically, but I'm going to say my mom and my dad's generation, which is the generation that seems to be taking kind of a little more power, right?
hmm
They're the 40 to 50 to 60 year olds. They're the kind of ones that are getting to make decisions right now. And if you think about that, they were the most of like the closet racists, where politically correct, they would say and do what they had to. But like behind closed doors, come on, you've heard some crazy conversation behind closed doors, dude, right?
right.
And because of that, I think that's what you're feeling. Is that really that great divide of that generation? Of the generation that only, so from the black side, you have the generation that only heard the stories of how bad it was of segregation. They didn't actually grow up in it, but their parents did.
Right.
So their parents told them how bad it was, right? And then you have the other side of the generation of the white people who it's right after segregation is okay and legal for, they grew up that way where it's, black and whites are integrated from the 70s and the 80s, those kids when they were growing up.
hmm
So it's I'm just guessing. I don't know. I'm just an idiot, whatever, right? But it seems to me that it was kind of rebelliously cool to be like the closet racist. To be like kind of fun and, be nice to the black guy because he had to. But that Anchorman 70s, 80s kind of, teenager adultish, I don't know. I just think it was one of those things where it was kind of cool to be closet racist, where you and your buddies would joke. Like it was cool in the 80s and 90s to be homophobic,
Right.
right? Where comedians on stage that were saying things that your buddies were saying behind closed doors were making race jokes about gay people. Like Chris Rock's live,
Right.
and Living Color is all about, it's mostly gay jokes. It's not even funny anymore because we've changed as a generation. I think that's what's being expressed in the modern day. Like, it's those people are in power. But I think once me and you get to express our power on the generation, on the global structure of things, once me and you are our boss or our boss's boss, when we finally get there, you're going to see a lot more acceptance of a lot of things. Like, I think gays and racism, I think these are the death spurts of such things.
Well, that does make sense because you're seeing a lot of the racist power brokers, so to speak, really just clawing to try and make every little thing a big issue.
As it slowly dies away, as people like me and you, as we become more of the demographic that has the money, the 18 to 35-year-old males, that spend and then as we slowly slide into the more of the investment generation, we care less and less. That's why there is no generation for us. There is no, what's his name, like Quanell X or what? Who are the racist like power brokers?
Oh, like Jesse Jackson
Right.
and Al Sharpton.
What's our generation's Jesse Jackson? We would go tell him to go fuck himself. We don't care. I mean,
Go
what do we
away.
care about Jesse Jackson? I mean, I have a really, really good friend, Eric Worrell. Like, we actually have done a podcast together. Like, you can go check it out at The Culmination, on YouTube. It's The Culmination. That's it, The Culmination. It's 8 episodes that we did a year ago, but whatever. He's a black guy. He's a really good friend, and he's a black guy. And if you asked him what he thought of Jesse Jackson, he'd give a fuck, But if you asked what his mom thought of Jesse Jackson, she gives a fuck, I just think you're just seeing the lag in the people that have control over the people that have the money. Well, not the money, but like the
influence.
the influence in spending money, right?
The sphere of influences.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I got an interesting, like, kind of big thought experiment that I came up with my little brother like a year ago.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask you. I haven't really ever asked anybody else that I considered, really smart. This is something I thought of and then we forgot about it. But it's a question on morality. And there is no right or wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
Or there doesn't seem to be that we've found yet. But I just wanted to ask you.
Alrighty.
Okay. So you're at a bus stop.
Right.
You've been at the bus stop for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You're waiting on your bus. Several buses have come and gone. You've been on your phone mostly, right? Just kind of looking down at your phone, just kind of doing your thing. At the point where it comes time, so many people have come and gone as you've sat there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been there for a while. So people have come and gone. It's a busy, like you're in New York kind of bus stop, right? So it's busy. You've been there for 10 minutes, several buses. About the time that it's come for your bus to get there, you start looking around, checking for your bus, and you notice that $20 are laying on the ground. And you notice that no one's looking at it, and that no one seems to have lost any money, right?
Right.
What's the right thing to do?
Well, if there's no immediate,
Right, you have the next 4 or 5 minutes before your bus gets there to do something. What's the right thing to do?
Right. If there's no
yeah.
immediate, obvious place to give it somewhere, then I take it. Like,
That's what you would do.
yeah.
What's the right thing? Like, and I mean that like in the most 100% way.
Right.
Like
well,
if Jesus was going to do it, or if not with perfect information, assuming that you knew whose money it was, but with the information that you're provided, what's the right thing? Like the morally right thing.
well,
You can't prove whose it is.
I mean, there's no wrong here. So there's no real moral quandary. I mean,
Right.
obviously,
There may not be a
pocketing it
wrong, but I would assume there'd be the most right.
more right. I mean, if you want to go like, maybe what Jesus would do, if you can't, like I said, if there's no just sort of obvious, especially
So
really
so this is
busy-
a thought experiment.
right.
And we're existing in the perfect world where you get to do, you're trying to do exactly what's perfect.
Right. Then see 20. You've 20. This is my thought process. There's obviously no way to find the owner.
Yeah, that's the first piece of information that you can establish. You don't really know whose it is. Right now, though, I will point that out.
Mhm.
My brother's first response was to put his foot on it and to wait. He thought that was more of a right thing to do than just picking it up. All right, just slide your foot on it. Make sure that nobody else that happens to just see it chooses the morally like instant. Like if there are no wrongs, the least good is just to pick it up and take it with no effort. Right? You don't even look around to see whose it is. Some people could just look down and go, "Oh, hey, $20," and reach down before anybody else, like a
Right.
finders keeper kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the least right thing to do. Right?
In theory, yeah.
I mean, the best thing to do would find the owner. So the idea is you could put your foot on it, wait a few minutes to see if anybody notices that they're missing the $20 that they happen to be holding and dropped. Because, I mean, you don't even know when it got there. You could have looked down. You might have looked up because you noticed it falling kind of thing and you didn't notice. Anyway, this was the fun of the thought. Because there was no perfectly right thing. My brother thought that you'd put his foot on it and he would wait until his bus got there. Till the longest he could. He would hold out all the way till the end. And if at that point he didn't notice anybody that was missing a $20 bill, he would just pick it up and take it.
Right, but he's missing the idea that someone might be looking but not asking, and by stepping on it, he's obscuring their view and therefore not allowing them to find it.
Right. At that point, that's one of the things that I pointed out. I was like, well, somebody might have wanted to see it and then pick it up. His response is that at the point that he picked it up, the morally right thing to do is assume the responsibility of looking for that person. You don't go back to your phone. You don't go back to not, just checking things out and thinking randomly. But you go to, instead of that, to a Sherlock Holmes like state where you're just constantly looking to see if anybody seems nervous or out of place. Because if somebody started going, oh, where's that 20? And if they weren't trying to be subtle, which they shouldn't in this type of scenario, they would start looking for it, right?
Right.
Shoulders would move, head would look down on the ground. He would start looking at it. He'd go, hey, man, what are you looking for, right?
Right.
And he goes, well, I think I dropped $20. And you would just pick your foot up and give it to him. I thought, hey, out of the best that you could come up with, I think that's the most morally right. We also discussed, do you announce it? Hey, did anybody lose something? Right?
Right.
Not, hey, did you lose $20? Because, the obvious, the morally evil in this scenario goes, yes, whether they did or they didn't. And $20 is too hard to describe. So it's, hey, did anybody lose something? You pick it up and put it in your hand. And if nobody can account for, hey, I lost $20 or I lost some money that I had, then you take it. But I don't know. I thought it was a fun thought experiment. Mm-hmm. There's no right or wrong. There's nothing bad.
There's also you can take it, but you don't use it for you. You give it to someone who needs it. And so good is done with that money regardless.
Some true moral right becomes achieved.
Right. So, you donate it or you give it to some dude who needs some food.
You want to know an interesting thing that I do?
What's that?
The first person to ask for money can get $1 from me once a day. Huh. So the first hobo or the first guy on the corner, that I'm close enough to that it's easy to give $1. Or if, I'm walking down the street in Houston, which I'm rarely doing, but if I'm on the street in Houston, you get asked for money all the time. First guy to ask for $1, you can have it. I just have this feeling that I can't imagine asking for $1, right?
Right.
Just $1. I mean, I have friends in my life that I can ask for $500 and they would probably give it to me. Like if I came to you and I was like, Jacob, I really, really need $500. Like it's, I'm living under a bridge kind of thing. I think you would give me $500. Right? So when somebody comes to me and they ask me for $1, they're in a position that I can't even understand. You have nobody, you're under right? But I can't give everybody $1. So I figured out the thing that made me feel the best was just to give one person $1, once a day. The most that could cost me a year is $365. That's not too bad.
It's not too bad. And
I feel better about giving $365 or that amount of money and a little bit of money to something else that I care about than giving like 10% of my income to just some random church. Did you hear about that guy, that evangelist that was on his TV show on TV? Is that televangelist that was asking for money for a $65 million private jet because God told him that he needed to go around and evangelize quickly? Those are the kind of people that ruin religion.
Oh, just ruin it. Absolutely.
Just ruin. What are you doing? Yeah. That's the worst kind of.
When I was very good about tithing, because I used to be only 2% went to my church. The rest went to other causes. Most of it went, actually, there was a long time where all of my tithe just went straight to Kanakuk.
Really?
I donated to Kanakuk because I believe that what they do is wonderful, and for the most part they do it very, very well, and they made such a big impact on my life that I wanted to get back something,
Oh, you yeah. Man, yeah, Kanakuk. I have a hard time describing it. I have a hard time describing how I feel about Kanakuk.
It's a wonderful place to be a kid.
It might be the greatest memories I have.
Some of them are definitely for me. There's some of them.
Some of the greatest memories I have, period, are Kanakuk. And some of the most greatest memories I have at some of the darkest points in my life, where having something like Kanakuk really, really mattered. Yeah. But I was just, anyway, we were talking about how people money in churches. I think giving your something money to like Kanakuk is a lot better than giving your money to like just some random church. And I'm not even saying just because you just go to that church, like you might go to that church, but you give that money to that church and you might have a great church, and it might be worth giving your money to that church, which I'm, not you specifically, Jacob, but the people listening,
Right.
which is fine.
The
But just be
royal you.
careful because there are people who like this guy, what's his name? Sirfolo Dollar. He's an Atlanta arena mega church pastor. Is looking for $60 million from people because he wants a jet. Don't give your money to those kind of people is all I'm saying, I guess.
Right. I mean, no matter just about anything, if I'm donating money, it's always to something very, very specific where I know where I know exactly where that money is going.
Oh, yeah, and be very careful about donating your money to like Walmart to donate for you because they're getting a tax break on that shit.
Oh, yeah, but just be careful with where you donate your money, period. You would be surprised if you look at charities how much actually makes it.
How much money from like the Salvation Army?
Salvation Army is one of the better ones.
It is? I thought some of them. Oh no! Like what is the one? It's like an AIDS one or whatever. It's only like a cent for every dollar or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they can get away with that because in a nonprofit organization, profit isn't expenses, and paying your employees and payroll is expenses. That's not profit.
Correct.
So if you make $1 million a year and you pay your employees $998,000 of it, you didn't make any profit. That was all expenses on, So just be careful. There are organizations out there that you're just simply giving your money to them. Like there's a cancer one.
There's probably.
I don't have it now, but we're going to upload
legitimate
this.
cancer charity, there's probably 1 or 2 or 3 terrible cancer charities.
I'll try to find. I don't want to do it right now since we're talking and it takes my attention away. But I'll try to find the. There's an article. There's like 5 or 6 that are really bad, and we'll try to put that in the show notes. You can edit that in later if we have to after you post it, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. I'll try to find it. Send it to you.
Yeah, and we're gonna switch some gears here because we do need to start wrapping up a little bit. But
okay. That's good.
I mean, it's all right. I mean, we're well past 2 hours at this point.
Oh, okay. Well, we can. Yeah, whenever, man.
But I want to. So this weekend,
I got lots of other topics though.
Yeah, I'll save them for next week.
Fine. Y'all are missing out on some fun shit.
I had one of those conversations where
Blame it on Jacob.
Where I was just like, "Wow, I'm getting old." Because we did happy hour with some people from work, and we got in this really like strong discussion about IRAs and savings accounts and like.
Have you seen the meme on Reddit? Or well, I guess it's just the meme on the internet. But it's like I always think of myself as a 20-year-old until I hang out with 20-year-olds, and then I'm like, nope, I'm a 30-year-old. It's like, yeah, that's so true. I feel like a 20-year-old until I hang out with my little brother, and my little brother, because he's my little brother, I can hang out with him. We're great friends. I truly love my little brother. But if I hang out with my little brother and his friends, I quickly feel like a 30-year-old. Yeah, quickly. Wow. Yeah, me and you talk about buying property. We talk about investing in stock markets and bitcoins. Like we don't. We no longer talk about Tony Hawk combos and Call of Duty.
Because one of the guys we went with, he's from India. He's talking about how their interest rates on savings accounts is 9%.
Wow. How can the banks guarantee 9%? Is it government?
I don't know how. It just money
like isn't 9% like a really successful hedge fund here in America?
Oh, that's beyond good. It's one of those things where I'm like Monday, I'm going to start researching this and start putting money into it if I can. Like that is it's a risk-free rate.
No, that's not right. There's something.
Well,
it must be you must be an Indian resident or something.
Maybe,
it must be some type they offer to the Indian residents or something.
But our interest rates are based off the Fed, right?
Because you're not discovering something new that you're going to be able to make a bunch of money off that these other millionaires can't have already exploited and brought the margins down. Like,
Right.
isn't that the way the
Well,
free markets
no.
work?
Right, but this is a little different. Interest rates are done by the Fed, right? Okay, just follow me. They're done by the Fed. Currently, our interest
Mhm.
rate, which is interest between banks,
Zero.
is 0%.
I have a really. We got to
so
wrap this up,
interest
and I don't want
rate-
to talk about that.
Interest
Just save
rates
that for another time.
in India must be 10, 12%. That's what it means. Is the interest rates, the central bank interest
So
rates?
are they getting money? Are they potentially getting money flooded in from out? Maybe it's not secured.
Maybe.
Be careful.
Oh yeah.
Sounds-
Well, no,
Things
no,
like that are way too good to be true, man. You know, you can get pretty good on return on investment on Magic cards.
I've heard that.
Yeah, you can get about 10% to 12% a year on Magic stock,
Interesting.
but it has the potential to go to zero.
Well, right. It's a unsecured asset.
It's a weird thing though, because it's pretty stable, right? Over the last 20 years, you've seen a 10 to 11% increase per year on the value of the true staples.
Right. Well, what it probably is like the 10 to 12% is most of the cards hold even or drop, but there's one or two or three that gain.
Well, it's only
hundreds of
over
percentage.
it's only over 9 cards.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's 9 cards.
Yeah, it's called the Power 9.
So it's
then
pretty
never to
much
be
one of
reprinted.
those things that
Well,
just about everyone
there's-
has.
I say that I say that, but I'm wrong. There's 9 cards plus the lands.
Plus the lands.
So I want to say there's either 5 or 10 lands because they're dual lands.
Right.
And I don't remember if they have all of the dual lands or whether there's only enemy or friendly. I can't remember. They're too expensive. I cannot imagine affording them, so I don't even try. Like one land's $400 to $500,
Holy God.
and you can only play 4 in your deck, but you can play 4 of the blue ones that are white, and then 4 of the blue ones that are green. So that's 4 to 8, 4 to 200 a land, and yeah, she can get into numbers that
I'm talking
Can't even imagine.
$10,000 magic deck.
you can have $10,000 to $20,000 Magic decks. That if you really want to enjoy Legacy Magic, that's what you need.
Wow.
Well, I said that wrong because to really enjoy Legacy Magic could cost you as little as $40 to really have a deck that you could go in there and enjoy and play Legacy Magic.
Right.
If that $40 Magic deck happens to fit your playstyle. But if you're also the kind of person that wants to play something like Blue-White Stoneblade, get ready to pull your checkbook out. You are about to spend some money. There are 75 cards in the Blue-White Stoneblade deck, 60 on your main deck and 15 in your sideboard. There is not a card, not a single card under $40.
Pass. Hard pass.
Hard pass. I have a land in my deck, which is just a simple basic island. You know, with the islands and mountains and plains?
Right.
Fetch you $400.
Why? Does it have a special attribute or is it just a special?
Very
power?
special attribute.
What does it
It's
do?
a very rare card from like 1998, and it was part of the Guru promotional project, like our whatever they did, whatever you would call that. And it was the thing where you had to do certain type of things while playing Magic at your local game store, and then report it to the organization that
DCI
you're
number?
part of with your DCI number, and then they shipped you. They mailed you these cards. And I'll just go ahead and find it for you because it is arguably one of the most beautiful island cards in Magic. And it also happens to be one of the rarest basic lands in Magic because they only, a certain amount of people only got this or whatever you would call it, right?
Right.
And so they mailed them to you, and a lot of people got them mailed and lost them in, over time or whatever. But it's called a Guru Island. And it's the only card that the symbol, which is right below the artwork to the right before the artwork for what it is, like it has a blue little drop that says, island, you'll notice that there's this little eyeball that's made out of bronze.
Right.
It's actually melted metal bronze and, like laid in the card and stuff, or copper. It's beautiful.
But it's just a land. It just plays as one land.
It does the exact same thing that you can go to your local game shop and just grab 200 and walk out and nobody would even notice or care.
Right.
Like for free. Like you could just literally, I guarantee almost any place that plays Magic, just walk up and grab 50 blue islands and walk away and nobody's even going to say, hey man, what are you doing? They don't even care.
They're going to be like, thank you for clearing space.
Thank you for taking some of the, yeah. Mm-hmm. They give them away free every night, so all the time. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to find you the value of it. Yeah, here we go.
Well, it's got a price tag. I clicked through it. It's got a price tag of $300.
$300. My brother gave it to me as a gift. He bought it for $190, and it's already gone up. It's almost already done since he bought it.
Yeah, about
4 years ago.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, next I need to go back through my Magic cards and refamiliarize myself with my decks. Haven't played in a while.
We should start playing.
Yeah.
Maybe Magic Online 2016 will come out on Steam or something, and we can start playing there.
That'd be fun.
Get it at the same time and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are we getting close, or do you got something else?
No, I think I'm about done. It's past,
okay, man.
It's a little bit past midnight here. It's going to take me a little while to get everything done.
Well, so you can post it tomorrow. Don't stress.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I might as well start posting because it takes a long ass time to upload.
To YouTube or to
YouTube?
Podbean.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Yeah. Well, thanks. It's kind of a meandering finish here, but we made it.
Hey, tell everybody what the email and the Twitter is.
Of course, 42 podcast, FORTY 2, the numeral 2, podcast at gmail.com, and it's at 42 podcast on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Or just punch in 42 podcast on YouTube, and we will be there. We have our Let's Plays that are up there. I have a couple more I need to upload. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, we have some Dota Let's Plays. If anyone wants to see a game, want to watch me or Ryan play a game, or both of us play a game, we'll definitely
send an email or hit us up on Twitter.
Something,
absolutely,
anything.
Jacob runs the email mainly, and I run the Twitter. Ryan does, I guess. That's weird to say, but if you just want to get information to us as in general, either one works.
Yeah, email goes.
There's lots of communication between us.
Email goes right to my phone, so I won't miss it by too much.
Twitter also goes to my phone, but it doesn't give me a notification sound, so don't try to blow my phone up. Did you hear what happened to Joe Rogan when he accidentally gave out this? I know we're done, but did you hear what happened when Joe Rogan accidentally gave his phone number out on a podcast that 4.5 million people listen to?
He had to get a new phone.
It melted. It just vibrated. He said for about 13 minutes, it just vibrated. And it just got really hot until it turned off and died and turned back on. He had to get a new phone number. Not a new phone, a new number.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, ladies and
gentlemen.
then
if anybody's on the Joe Rogan podcast and they tell them that he happens to that you get live tweets and that it notifies, people will blow their phones up on the podcast. I'd like to get there one day.
One day. Well,
yeah.
From all of us here at 42, we'd like to thank everyone for listening. And please let us know. Contact us. We'd love to hear from you. Have a good night, one and all. Or good morning, or whatever time you're listening to this. Have whatever time of day that is. Have a good one of that. And
right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Peace out, hombres.